Aloha! Welcome to the First Unitarian Church of Honolulu. We are our beloved community, boldly growing, compassion, justice, and joy. Aloha. Whether you are in person or online, we are glad that you are here. So welcome especially to all our Zoom congregants out there. Hello, good morning. And then for people inside, are there any visitors who would like to introduce themselves this morning? Yes, hello.
Yes, I'm Karen Hens from UU Fellowship of Sunnyvale.
Oh, great. Thanks, Karen, for being here.
Yeah, I'm past president, and I'm off for those duties now.
Woo!
We come every year in January.
Oh, wonderful. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Aloha.
This is our second congregation of virtual.
All right, great. Thank you for being here. Yes.
I'm Terry from Dallas, and I wanted to come see where TJ used to.
Oh, excellent.
I just got in last night. I'm on the beach. I got 2 years since
Thank you so much for joining us, Terry. Yes. Nah. Oh. Oh my gosh. Well. Welcome to this sunny place. Wonderful. Yes, another visitor. Mary Ellen from Palolo. Gabriella, welcome.
Emily Hodges.
Hi.
Emily Hodges and Charles Spencer from Cincinnati, St. John's Unitarian Church. The only Unitarian church named after a saint.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Gabriella, thank you. All right, everybody, welcome. We're so glad that you chose to be with us this Sunday morning. We are also delighted to have our children with us this morning to be with us for our first hymn in just a minute. My name is Crystal Neva. My pronouns are she, her, they. I have the honor of being your worship associate today with our worship leader this morning, Reverend Deborah Bond-Upson, for who I am very grateful. I'm looking forward to your message today, for sure, and we extend aloha to everybody who's choosing us today. So we light our chalice this morning as a symbol of our free faith with the words of Richard S. Gilbert. O flaming chalice, symbol of a free faith, burn with the holy oil of helpfulness and service. Spread warmth and light and hope. Warm hearts grown cold with indifference. Light dark places with justice. Rekindle hope in despair. May we bring fuel for thy fire of love. May the oil of loving kindness flow from us to thy leaping flame. May hands of service shelter thee, that no winds of hate may extinguish thy brightness. May thy light and warmth be eternal, and may we be keepers of thy flame. So please join in singing our hymn of the month. This month is Spirit of Life. And if the children, if you guys know the signs and want to come up, feel free. Otherwise, you can sit in your seats and do it if you know the signs, and we'll sing Spirit of Life.
Spirit of life, come.
Thank you. Aloha mai kaho. It's good to be together with you today, especially today, sharing the shock and the pain that Friday was the National Day of Truth and Freedom, and Saturday, ICU nurse Alex Preddy was shot and killed by border control agents. We are here to comfort each other, to find meaning in our faith, and to discern how best to move with these threats in our magnificent and fragile world. Reflecting on the shocking months of breaking norms and constitutional clauses, I remember one voice in particular that sounded so courageous in the moment, speaking truth to power, but speaking out of such great love, it pierced my heart. Do you remember the woman, Reverend Marianne Budd? She is an Episcopal prelate, Bishop of Washington, D.C., of the National Cathedral. And during the prayer service for the inauguration, she called on our president to have mercy on transgender children and immigrant families. You may wonder why I'm pointing to her when we are here to think on UU heroes today, and we will. Here is what she said then. Karen?
Let me make one final plea, Mr. President. Millions have put their trust in you. And as you told the nation yesterday, you have felt the providential hand of a loving God. In the name of our God, I ask you to have mercy upon the people in our country who are scared now. There are gay, lesbian, and transgender children in Democratic, Republican, and independent families, some who fear for their lives. And the people who pick our crops and clean our office buildings, who labor in poultry farms and meatpacking plants, who wash the dishes after we eat in restaurants and work the night shifts in hospitals, they may not be citizens or have the proper documentation, but the vast majority of immigrants are not criminals. They pay taxes and are good neighbors. They are faithful members of our churches and mosques, synagogues, wadara, and temples. I ask you to have mercy, Mr. President, on those in our communities whose children fear that their parents will be taken away, and that you help those who are fleeing war zones and persecution in their own lands to find compassion and welcome here. Our God teaches us that we are to be merciful to the stranger, for we were all once strangers in this land. May God grant us the strength and courage to honor the dignity of every human being, to speak the truth to one another in love, and walk humbly with each other and our God for the good of all people in this nation and the world. Amen.
Yesterday in Minneapolis, she was speaking about us. Bishop Budd told the UU world that UUs are here in Minneapolis in large numbers relative to your size, and your faith tradition has such a history of commitment to social justice, and that is well represented here. I think UUs would feel a combination of both heartbreak at what's happening and an incredible sense of honor and pride to be part of a people of faith and goodwill who are doing lots of things, large and small, to keep the fabric of our society woven together. This is what she said about UUs. 39 to 41% of Americans attend church at least monthly. About 1% of church-going Americans are UUs. Over 100 UU clergy are in Minneapolis now. 20 to 25% of all the clergy who travel to Minneapolis to stand vigil are Unitarian. Many UU church leaders and members are there with them as well. And I'm proud and I'm honored to be a Unitarian Universalist always, but especially now. Times have changed, and how to be a hero has morphed. There are new opportunities now. How may we now enact our UU faith in love, peace, and protection? Today we will explore and honor our heroes then and now. Let us feel the strength of our faith and our love together here today.
This church is our place to experience the depth of life together. This book stands for the lives we share within our beloved community. Some of us share our joys and concerns in this book. Others see the book and know that they can share their joys and concerns freely here, like in our gallery with one another after the service, or in workshops with wise leaders from afar, with our minister, Reverend Deborah Bond Upson, or with members of our care team. And now you can even share your joys and concerns and learn of the cares of others in our community, in our newsletter, and on our website. So this book of life stands for all the ways that we may share our cares, and I do have a couple of things written in it today. So there are some concerns. Obviously, the violence in Minneapolis, that's noted here as a concern of what is going on in our world right now. We also have Andrea Rosk Metcalf, a college friend of Laura's, is a Lutheran minister in Minnesota and was one of the clergy detained last week for their peaceful protest. she's been released and is fine, but concern for all of those putting themselves on the line for their friends and their neighbors. It's intense. So if we could, just for a moment, hold the concerns that we have in our hearts right now, for those far away, for those close to us, just for a moment, bring to mind. We also have some joys today. So let's see what's here. I put on here that my lovely daughter, Callie Neva, turns 33 today. Yay. The beautiful, hazy, cool summit morning, sunlit morning. Another joy, our whole lives, sex education for Kupana started on Friday, and the class is full. There are 16 people, and Reverend Kyle Levitt has joined the facilitation team, so mahalo. That's from Nan. I think that's wonderful. There's also grateful to be visiting Honolulu and to worship with all the Unitarians. And this is from Sheila and Bill. Is that right? Yay. Hi. Free Iran, First Unitarian Universalist Church of somewhere in Boston. Sorry. Church of Boston. Can't read. Anyway, there are joys. So I'm so glad that all of you are here, that are visiting, and that you're feeling some joy in our beautiful place. And let's just hold our joys for a moment. They're real too. The bitterness and the sweetness, the concerns and the joys of life remind us to live these days together. The brave adventure and the holy understanding we share in this journey echo today, as they always do, in the book of life and in the hearts we each bring to share today. And may it always be so. We are so fortunate in this congregation that we can look at the suffering in our world and we can give to provide some relief. It is a privilege to give our whole offering today and every Sunday to people and causes who benefit from our loving concern. And this month we are supporting the legal clinic. And that is obviously especially so important right now. They work to ensure justice for low-income immigrants and migrants in Hawaii through immigration legal services, community education, and policy advocacy. TLC serves individuals regardless of immigration status, nationality, religion, gender identity, sexual orientation, or disability, and they use using financial eligibility guidelines. The clinic prioritizes especially vulnerable groups, including detained individuals, domestic violence survivors, trafficking survivors, juveniles, LGBTQ+ clients, torture survivors, and people with physical or mental disabilities. So when the calabash comes by, you know what to do. So let us give freely now and receive with great gratitude.
Peace like the river, I've got peace like
sustain this ministry of this church within these walls and without. Mahalo nui loa.
Would our UU Hero readers please step forward? Juliet, you're one. Hand that to you first. Some of you have told me some weeks that you appreciate it when I tell you why I spend time on something, or when I warn or assure you what's going on or how long it will take. So I will share that I want us all steeped in the story of our faith, our people. I think this may serve as a comfort and a compass, an inspiration for us now. But also, I admit I have an ulterior motive in sharing these compelling UU characters with you. And that is, we want to start a class, UU History 101 or UU Heroes or a blend. And I would love you to become interested in all we learned today and email me that you would like to join this class, and we'll arrange the timing. I'm going to share the birth year, the locations during life, the role, and the name of each of the speakers, and our volunteers will speak their quotes at this mic. Everyone speaking right in close so that everyone can hear, including our Zoom audience. And here are some of the pictures of the original speakers. 1520, Transylvania, Ferenc David, counselor to the king.
Each preacher shall preach the gospel by his own conviction, that communities may choose preachers whose teachings they find good.
1525, Italy to Switzerland, Laelius Socinus, heretical theologian and founder of Socinianism.
I shall never allow myself to be deprived of that sacred liberty to ask questions of my elders, and modestly and reverently to engage in discussion, and we might enlarge our understanding of divine things.
1539, Italy to Switzerland, landing in Transylvania, Fausto Socinus.
Man can forgive without exacting a penalty. Why can't God? Thus, God does not need to exact a penalty for every sin in order to forgive it.
1540, Transylvania, King John Sigismund.
Our Lord, in every place the preachers shall preach and explain the gospel, each according to his understanding of it. And if the congregation like it, well, if not, no one shall compel them, for their souls shall not be satisfied, but they shall be permitted to keep a preacher whose teachings they approve.
1735, USA, Massachusetts, Pennsylvania, Italy, France, Pennsylvania, Massachusetts, President John Adams. 3 quotes.
One useless man is a shame, 2 is a law firm, and 3 is a Congress. Our Constitution was made only for a moral and religious people. It is wholly inadequate to the government of any other. But a constitution of government, once changed from freedom, can never be restored. Liberty once lost is lost forever.
1741, England to the USA, to New Jersey, then Massachusetts, the Reverend John Murray, the first Universalist minister.
Go out into the highways and byways of America, your new country, and you shall meet with many who are in need of your help. Give them not hell, but hope and courage. Preach the kindness and everlasting love of God.
1743, USA, Virginia, President Thomas Jefferson.
Fix reason firmly in her seat, and call to her tribunal every fact, every opinion. Question with boldness even the existence of a God, because if there be one, he must more approve the homage of reason than that of blindfolded fear.
1751, USA, Massachusetts, Judith Sargent Murray, speaker, feminist, wife of Reverend John.
Yes, ye lordly, ye haughty sex, our souls are by nature equal to yours. The same breath of God animates, enlivens, and invigorates us. A universalist, your heart cannot but dilate, and your affections widen, until the divine expansion, like the ambient atmosphere, embraces every form which is acted upon by an immortal spirit.
1780, USA, Rhode Island to Massachusetts, the Reverend William Ellery Channing, writer of Unitarian Christianity.
God, deliver us from all prejudice and unkindness, and fill us with the love of truth and virtue. Every human being is intended to have a character of his own, and to be what no others are, and to do what no other can do.
Channing said this next, before Eleanor Roosevelt did.
No power in society, no hardship in your condition can depress you, keep you down in knowledge, power, virtue, influence, but by your own consent.
1803, USA, Massachusetts, Reverend Ralph Waldo Emerson, who left the ministry to become a writer and speaker after his famous divinity school address.
The purpose of life is not to be happy. It is to be useful, to be honorable, to be compassionate, to have it make some difference that you have lived and lived well. What lies behind you and what lies in front of you pales in comparison to what lies inside of you.
Reverend Theodore Parker is next, born in 1810, and he some regard as the primary social justice leader in our history. And his picture is on your order of service, along with the pictures of some of our UU clergy who are in Minneapolis now.
Look at the facts of the world. You see a continual and progressive triumph of the right. I do not pretend to understand the moral universe. The arc is a long one. My eye reaches but a little ways. I cannot calculate the curve and complete the figure by the experience of sight. I can divine it by conscience. And from what I see, I am sure it bends towards justice. Things refuse to be mismanaged long.
Theodore Parker wrote that, said that many decades before Martin Luther King was inspired by that concept. And Lincoln was inspired by or borrowed a bit from Parker here.
First, there is the democratic idea that all men, or people, are endowed by their Creator with certain natural rights, that these rights are alienable only by the possessor thereof, that they are equal in people, that government is to organize these natural, unalienable, and equal rights into institutions designed for the good of the governed, and therefore government is to be of all the people, by all the people, and for all the people.
And further, he said,
here government is development, not exploitation. Democracy means not, I am as good as you are, but you are as good as I am.
1810, USA, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, New York, then off to Italy, and finally shipwrecked off the coast of New Jersey, Margaret Fuller.
There exists in the minds of men a tone of feeling toward women as toward slaves. Male and female represent the two sides of the great radical dualism, but in fact, they are perpetually passing into one another. Fluid hardens to solid. Solid rushes to fluid. There is no wholly masculine man, no purely feminine woman. It is so true that a woman may be in love with a woman and a man with a man. It is pleasant to be sure of it, because it is undoubtedly the same love that we shall feel again when we are angels.
1815, USA, New York, Massachusetts, New York, New Jersey, Elizabeth Cady Stanton, women's rights advocate.
The best protection any woman can have is courage, and government is just only when the whole people share equally in its protections and advantages. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men and women are created equal.
1820, USA, Massachusetts, New York, Susan B. Anthony, Elizabeth's friend and fellow activist.
Cautious, careful people, always casting about to preserve their reputation and social standing, never can bring about a reform. I distrust those people who know so well what God wants them to do, because I notice it always concedes with their own desires.
1835, Reverend Olympia Brown, the first fully ordained woman minister in the U.S. Michigan, Massachusetts, Wisconsin, Ohio, New York, Connecticut, Michigan. She really got around.
Every nation must learn that all the people of the nations are children of God and must all share the wealth of the world. You may say this is impractical, far away, and can never be accomplished, but this is the work which Universalists are appointed to do. Universalists sometimes, somehow, somewhere, must ever teach this great lesson.
Are any of you old enough to remember the political phrase, Madeley for Adelaide? 1900, USA, California, born Illinois governor, two-time presidential candidate, Adlai Stevenson.
Too often, sinister threats to the Bill of Rights, to freedom of the mind, are concealed under the patriotic cloak of anti-communism.
Here.
It's still making noise. Are still concealed under the patriotic cloak of anti-communism. I have been told that only one of the reasons the astronomers of the world cooperate is the fact that there is no one nation from which the entire sphere of the sky can be seen. Perhaps there is in that fact a parable for national statesmen whose political horizons are all too often limited by national horizons.
In 1902 and 1904, Martha Sharp and Reverend Waitstill Sharp from the USA, Massachusetts, and Pennsylvania left their small children at home and went to Czechoslovakia to save refugees. Returning later to Philadelphia years later, their work modeled and fueled the founding of our UUSC, Unitarian Universalist Service Committee.
Wade still said, "Liberty is never being too sure you're right."
Martha said,
Every life we touched has its own drama. One can only manage a miracle every so often, but a series of miracles can happen when many people become concerned and are willing to act at the right time.
1919, USA, New York, Pete Seeger, legendary musician and troubadour.
It's a very important thing to learn to talk to people you disagree with. Songs are funny things. They can slip across borders, proliferate prisons, penetrate hard shells. I always believed that the right song at the right moment could change history.
1922, USA, Indiana, Massachusetts, New York, Kurt Vonnegut, author, satirist, moral philosopher, social critic.
You meet saints everywhere. They can be anywhere. There are people behaving decently in an indecent society. For some reason, the most vocal Christians among us never mention the Beatitudes from Matthew 5, but often with tears in their eyes, they demand the 10 Commandments be posted in public buildings. And of course, that's Moses, not Jesus. I haven't heard one of them demand that the Sermon on the Mount or the Beatitudes be posted anywhere. Blessed are the merciful in the courtroom. Blessed are the peacemakers in the Pentagon. Give me a break.
1927, USA, Reverend James Reed, from Kansas, Wyoming, Maryland, Massachusetts, to Selma, Alabama, where he died.
The only way we can achieve freedom is to conquer the fear of death. Man dies when he refuses to stand up for what is right, for what is just, and for what is true. I would rather die on the highways of Alabama than make a butchery of my conscience.
(1949), USA, Pennsylvania, D.C., New York, Texas, the Reverend Marjorie Bowen Sweetley.
If, recognizing the interdependence of all life, we strive to build community, the strength we gather will be our salvation. If you are Black and I am white, it will not matter. If you are female and I am male, it will not matter. If you are older and I am younger, it will not matter. If you are liberal and I am conservative, it will not matter. If you are straight and I am gay, it will not matter. If you are Christian and I am Jewish, it will not matter. If we join spirits as brothers and sisters, the pain of our aloneness will be lessened, and that does matter.
1980, USA, New York, California, Stark King, Massachusetts, New York, New Jersey, D.C., and in Minneapolis since last week, President of the UUA, Reverend Dr. Sophia Betancourt.
We are a sanctuary people. There are times that will be defined by the continued and increased need for organizing and a faithful commitment to mutual aid. Hope is a practice. Hope is a discipline. Hope draws from our historical grounding as Unitarians and Unitarian Universalists. In times of change, times of deep division, in our faith communities and in the world around us, we hold fast to a posture of hope and use it to drive our commitment to action. Far more powerful than any faction, leader, nation, or creed, it is the fierce love that compels our deepest loyalty and our most courageous.
Thank you. Thank you, heroes. Seated or standing, please lift your voices in song for our Love Will Guide Us. Last week, we heard about Ferenc David and King John of Transylvania and the opening they made for religious freedom. Why do Unitarians make such a big deal about Transylvania? This step for a nation to allow choice of religion was a turning point. What did it mean then? It did not only mean that one could worship where you wanted, or that you could affirm one God rather than a trinity. It was a fundamental establishment of the value and right and appropriateness of human beings to perceive the world and follow a faith of their choice. It began to establish a level of respect for the essential capability of each individual to perceive truth on their own. It was a toe in the water for our first principle, the inherent worth and dignity of every person. And we know that leads to the second, justice, equity, and compassion in human relations. The breakthrough Ferenc and King Sigismund enabled had to do with valuing individual human faith and reason. It reduced the authoritarian rule and permitted greater freedom. This very breakthrough carried forward through the lives of the heroes we just heard from 1520 to last week in Minneapolis. When I thought about the UU heroes preparing for today, I read and saw many visionary leaders, each of whom caused dramatic change. Each caused improvement in valuing truth and freedom. And then I confess, I was a bit worried that next to our heroes of yore, our heroes today might pale. There are two factors I wanted to explore that have to do with that. When we look at the leaders of the 1600s, they were beacons valuing and engaging in moving understandings with divine essence of all beings, religious freedom, women's rights, and racial equality. And people listened to them and learned from them. But today, though then the progress through the centuries was led by rare visionaries ahead of their time, didn't they often seem to be singularly talented individuals? Creating and carrying understanding ahead of their peers in their times? And now looking at our present moment, instead of 4 or 5 great inspirational leaders, given education, communications, transportation, and ubiquitous connectivity, we have a wealth of informed visionary people rather than a few rare leaders. Our planet population has exploded from 500,000 in the time of King Sigismund to 8 billion now. We live more closely and more connected globally than ever. These factors, I believe, have made the role of hero more pervasive and more fluid. Leadership is more dispersed and changeable. In spite of the authoritarian actions and threats, the opportunity to take meaningful action today in support of principles and others, the opportunity to be a hero is more democratized, more accessible to each of us. For example, we had a meeting in this sanctuary last Tuesday of over 100 people. Each of us there could see and grasp important information offered, and we could access it afterwards and further share it. We have the mental and technical means to spread it. This is so different from other times. Today we have many organizations, websites, and apps connecting UUs to be effective in protecting religious freedoms and human rights. We recognize that we are empowered so that we can each take more effective, even heroic actions more swiftly. Yet so can those who are opposed to our objectives of radical respect for each human life, dignity, and rights. So the role of hero may be different. We may need different tactics and understandings to communicate positively and to learn how to reach those immersed in communication from an opposing source. So the model of hero, I feel, is changed. Secondly, while there have always been setbacks in the progress toward freedom and well-being for all, over this past century, it seemed in our part of the world that we generally continued to progress in freedom and truth. As Parker said, when he inspired and Martin Luther King shortened it, the arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends toward justice. Now the justice we felt progressing is threatened. Does it feel there's a break in the arc? Just now, does the arc of justice feel more like a boomerang than an arc? Important stands are taken to protect humanity, and often behind, less visible, but supporting and initiating, we have Unitarian Universalists. Take yesterday, the day of truth and freedom in Minneapolis. As ICE continued to stop people from asking of proof of citizenship, as I shared with you, 100 UU clergy were there with our president, the Reverend Dr. Sophia Betancourt. My minister's email was full of messages from our regional clergy heading to Minneapolis and others gathering funds to help others to go. Others were working on Gaza. There is so much UU activity distributed all around the globe. Our own congregation is engaged and active, mindful of the danger to our community members who ICE may confront. I am so grateful for the contributing we have been doing throughout this month to the legal clinic. Hawaii has an extreme shortage of attorneys experienced in immigration cases, and I have been told that some of the experienced immigration attorneys, out of all of them, only 3 speak Spanish. Resources are scarce. There could not have been a more important service for us to support all January than the legal clinic at this time. I have learned that some of those in our Honolulu Federal Detention Center are being sent to Hawaii from other states with no friends, relations, or connections, or reason to be here, without support in their language. Seemingly, the transfer here may make it harder for them to get legal help. And I was proud of our welcoming church hosting over 100 concerned community members gathered in this room Tuesday for the briefing and resistance training. We met members from many active groups that we can partner with. They share values with us. Collaboration grows and it will grow. Groups are helping, even magazines like the Hawaii Business Magazine. If you Google ICE Map Hawaii, you will get a link to their interactive page, and you will see a list and a map of all locations where ICE has been spotted. And under it, you will see another link that says Report ICE. You click it, a form appears, and you can input information about any sighting you might make, and it will immediately be added to the list and the map. This is one of the ways we can look at how we can help, how we can protect. As we puzzle, how do we comport ourselves when such risks surround us? We can't protect people by warning them to steer clear of sites where ICE officers are. We can wear a whistle to warn others if we see ICE officers headed toward them. We can share information and we can share funds. We can encourage each other. We can continue the efforts of many of you to gather food and supplies for those in need. I saw even the Bloody Mary mix. Where is he? We can attend meetings and marches, hold signs, send letters, call legislators. More important than any other action, though, I believe, is we must model the human behavior that respects all beings and our Aina. Without that continued faith, love, and humanity, we cannot prevail. With continued faith, love, humanity, and humility, we will recharge the trajectory of our arc to justice. We must breathe and we must be of love. Please join with us, if you will, in singing Meditation on Breathing.
So we're going to sing the drone. I'll teach it to you now if you could. It's just a simple 1, 2, 1, 2. So breathe. So we're going to start with choir and then we'll cue you in.
Mahalo, Sorka. That was beautiful. This is a map of locations ICE is reaching in our state. Let us keep our islands, our country, our communities, and our neighbors in mind. Let us envision and promote peace and safety for all. Let us consider the fear, anger, or delusion driving others to threaten others. Let us seek to understand those acting to endanger others. Let us never cease to feel and embody the faith and values we share. May our loving concern for each and all open pathways of peace. To end my prayer, I want to speak the four-phrase Ho'opono prayer to those who threaten peace now. This feels hard, and you may not be comfortable with it. Join if you wish, but seeking a way to unite in peace, to ford the chasm between us now. I will say a longer version of each phrase, followed by the short phrase. Please repeat the short phrase after me, if you wish. I regret that eagerness to support those in need may have felt undermining to you. I am sorry. I am sorry. Please forgive me if in supporting others in grave circumstances, I did not feel or convey my care for you. Please forgive me. Please forgive me. While I will actively resist harm and protect others and myself, I will continue to feel love and concern for you. I love you. I love you. In this beautiful world with the possibility of peace, opportunity, and joy, I still feel gratitude to all. Mahalo. Mahalo.
Thank you so much for such an important message today, such an important topic for us as a faith community. I have a few announcements for us as we near the end of our service. So one is that there is an emergency demonstration today demanding justice for Alex Preddy. And it's at 4 o'clock, from 4 to 5:30. And it's at the Atkinson and Ala Moana intersection right there at the entrance to Magic Island. So that's important if we can be there. And then February 7th, if you could plan ahead and put in your calendar on Saturday, February 7th, there is a church work party in the afternoon with beer and other refreshments to motivate. And there are jobs for all skill levels, so you don't have to know what you're doing, but there's a good work party gonna happen. And then today after church, there's a couple things happening. One is there's a table in the hallway where Juliet and Martina will be selling their handmade and vintage jewelry. And all of the proceeds will go to our church emergency fund, which helps support people in our community in need. So that's an important fund to keep funded. Okay, also, immediately after this service, we hope that all of you will join us in the gallery for chatting and refreshments. And then you're invited to come back here to talk story. And then next week, come and join us. The service is called The Thaw with Pastor Keola Whitaker. And this sermon is about the slow, sacred work of thawing, both in the world and in ourselves. So we hope that you'll join us with that. So that's a lot of announcements. We're going to extinguish our chalice with the words of Rebecca Savage. We have come to the end of our service, but not our calling in the world. We close our time together with the humble reminder that justice and equity are our spiritual practices to embrace. Each day, every day, We are blessed to be the embodiment of what is possible when justice and equity ground us in all that we do. We may go forth with the light and warmth of our chalice in our hearts until we are together again. And now I would love for you to join us in singing our song of peace. And we usually try to stand up and get in a circle, and there's a lot of us today. So hold hands if you're comfortable. Put your hand on your heart if you rather.